Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for the invitation to be here at Hora this Friday morning. Your Worship, the Mayor, Cheryl Mai, Crichton Christie, not necessarily in order, Matua Taipari, Headmaster Pat Newman and staff and members of the board and parents, and my parliamentary colleagues Kelvin Davis, that's the one that just spoke, all the way from Kaitaia, and Shane Reddy, all the way from here in Whangarei. Some of us are actually related. It's not obvious to you. And my parliamentary colleague from Warkworth, Tracy Martin. Students, ladies and gentlemen, I was a teacher once, but the pay was so lousy I left. I went to university, I worked there, I couldn't be worse off. And funnily enough, I wasn't. In the year I decided to do that, a Minister of Education decided, in the brief 10 months he was a minister, to bring in a massive increase to the teaching profession. I'm talking way back in about 1970-71. And he's still remembered by some of the older teachers because he came short enough to make a difference and leave early enough before he could be attacked. I want to say congratulations to all those involved with the school. And it's a real treasure, you know, to come in and see a building that's got architectural design, that's historic, seriously significant. This school was first built at the time of the first real political party in New Zealand, 1893, when women got the vote the first time in any country, anywhere in the world, which makes us actually the oldest democracy in the world. Others will contest that, but the oldest democracy that had men and women voting as equals is New Zealand, against all other countries. Mind you, on the rest of the world, there's only 9 that have got an unbroken line of democracy for the last 150 years. We're one of those as well. Look at your website. It was the first year of 1893. And if you look at what the students did back then, well, some were leaving school to become drapers or saddlers, that's making horse saddles, collars, printing, blacksmithing, and some went on this ubiquitous name, home duties, whatever that means. And you know, it's hard to believe, but some people were leaving school your age to start work. Without the luck of a great education that you're getting here. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just say, this school had a marvellous start, and it shows today how important that start was, because the school had as its primary goal to set children off on a happy and successful road to a good life. Your school today has the same objectives. They include having an educational program in which the children can acquire basic skills in literary, maths, the sciences, arts and Maori culture, and helping children to become good citizens able to lead happy and useful lives. And Kelvin Davis gave you some serious advice. He said, you stay on in school as long as you can, till at least you're 80 years of age. Now, before you think there's a bunch of old tired men up there, present company accepted, before you think there's a bunch of old tired men giving you some silly advice, I want you to understand this. None of us would be here if we didn't have great teachers and great parents that kept on our backs until one day we grew up and learned how important education was. It is a tremendous escalator, a tremendous help in your life, and don't ignore that. Whatever you do, you make sure you look after your teachers and you look after your parents. Remember, your parents are working hard to have you here. And all you have to do is be a good student to thank them. Is that a fair deal? You reckon? Is that a fair arrangement? They help you, they put all their effort into it, and all you got to do is be a good student. You know, it's an amazing thing that as the man who was the father of physics, Ernest Rutherford, started his education in a small country school in a place called Havelock, near Nelson in the South Island. the man that's president was splitting the atom. And then a man from the same school, later on, helped to put a man on the moon, and his name was Bill Pickering. And of course, there was a man called Akramangata, a great Maori leader and politician, attended a small primary school near Gisborne. Now, Hora is a far bigger place than any of those schools. So if they can go that far, and Ngata's fame is that he got a law degree in 2 years flat, and was the first man, European or Maori, to get a double degree in this country. Not bad from a small country place, way up in Gisborne. The question we could ask is, while we recognise the value of education, do we give it the level of importance it deserves? Now I have to say, I prepared this speech and looked highly political. Seriously did. I had a consultation with my education spokesperson, Tracy Martin, and said, you know, the trouble with that part of the speech is we in politics are all to blame for failing to value education to the degree we should have.
Okay.
It's not party this and a party that. If we were to actually agree that we could do much better, if we could agree to set aside our differences and have a massive conference, or for that matter, you can call it a hui, you can call it anything you like, but let's set aside the priorities so that we can do better. If we did that, I think our education money would go much further. But bear in mind one thing, we could do all that, but there's something that is critically as essential in education as anything I know. As it is for sport, for culture, for drama, so for education it's this. The parent is the most critically important person. We have got to spend more money as a country educating young people in the preparedness to be a parent and how important and critical their role is. I know of very few people who've been successful who haven't had at least a mother or father, but it's usually a mother, because actually no mothers do all the work. Especially in the Maori world. Especially a mother behind that child. If they can be endued to commit themselves to be the principal educator in that child's life, even if it's only about manners and commitment and attitude, 24/7, then there's going to be a massive difference in education outcomes. But we shouldn't just turn it all into a political row and say that party's got it wrong, this party's got it right. When in so many ways, about 85% of us do agree, and we argue about 15%, which may not be as important as the fundamental things such as parental involvement, parental responsibility, all the things that are important. In some countries, if you don't send your child to school, if you don't do certain things, they come around and pick you up, imprison you, until you come to your ways. Now, I'm not suggesting we do that. I'm just suggesting we need to be far more focused on the role of the parent inside the educational initiative. I'm not going to read out the rest of my speech, because being part Maori, we don't like reading. we're an old people. I want to say that because I think it's so fundamental. Can I just say one thing, and it's really about the tradition of the school. You won't know, but when I was your age, I came here. And I was so small, I thought the school was on a hill. Well, it is slightly high, but it's not on a hill. But why I remembered it was that there was a great rugby team. The best rugby team in the Whangarei sub-union was Hora. And I don't know if some of you can remember what they used to sing down there at Rugby Park, showing off while all us country boys were trying to beat them. They used to have a song called Hora Hora Razzle Dazzle. You remember that? Oh, this is too far back in the history of this country. Anyways, it was about attitude. And they could play. And I can still remember some of those great players that played for Hora and the uniform they had. And I'm really saying here in 2017, on this Friday morning, if you keep that as your slogan, if you're going to razzle dazzle in your educational performance and being the most important thing you can be, a happy person, then you will go far. Mr. Newman, thank you for inviting us. I think I've never been actually to a school where they invited 4 members of parliament. Really, I haven't, in all my career. Usually one's enough. The second thing is, It almost exudes from the school that there's a lot good about it, in the parents, in the board, and even those people who were out there constructing these extra classrooms, but in a style which is really an architectural pride and would fit down on the main river Whangarei in that boat, and I think you should be awfully proud of that. Boy, have I seen some awful architecture in Auckland. Just dreadful. This is a wonderful thing. So look, thanks for inviting my colleagues. And can I have one last word to the children? What do you want to be when you grow up? Anybody got any ideas? Yeah? Yes?
I want to be a scientist.
You want to be a scientist? And behind you, that boy there? Yeah? Yeah? You want to be in the army? You want to be the head of the army, the general in the army? The boy at the back? Yes? You? You, that's what?
I want to be a fireman when I grow up.
You want to be a
Fireman.
fireman when you grow up? At the very back against the wall, yes? Yeah?
I want to be a pilot.
You want to be a pilot? Just take two more. That's your head, yeah. Yeah? You want to be a teacher? Well, you'll need the politicians to pay more to teachers, won't you? We'll try and work on it before you get there. Yes. What do you want to be? Hey? Yes, you? What do you want to be? You want to be a teacher? Okay, one more. I'll take two more. That girl there, yes? Veterinarian. Looking after animals. And this girl here, yeah. You want to be a doctor? Anybody want to be a carpenter? I know, I do. Anybody want to be a carpenter? No? Well, can I just say one thing to all those children that put their hands up? If you want to be that, then the more education you get, the more certain you're going to be. All right? There's no shortcut. You can be anything you want to be if you get that education. Somebody told me, a very wise politician, he's actually here now. He said, education might be the door, but attitude's the key. And if you've got that attitude, you'll go a long way. And I hope you do. Kelvin Davis, Jane Redding, and Tracy Martin and I can tell you one thing. If you get an education, the sky's the limit. Doors will open to you, and you'll get to travel around the world over and over again. Isn't that exciting? Good luck. Thank you very much.